What specific fruits or vegetables would be good for gaining muscle mass?
The gaining of muscle mass comes about as a result of applying a principle in physical training that we call overload. What that means is that you ask your muscles to perform at a slightly greater capacity than they're currently able to, and you do that on a regular basis. The result is what we call a training effect. The body will bring about changes within itself to meet the demands that you're placing upon it. There are no foods that you can eat that will create muscle for you whatsoever. All that the body does is it uses food as raw materials for building or for fuel or other uses. But the food itself cannot create any muscle on your body. If it did, and this is something that Doug uses as an analogy, and it's an amusing as well as accurate, if that did work, the bodybuilders and weightlifters of this world would not be down in the gym, they would be sitting in restaurants eating. Yeah? The development of musculature only happens as a response to physical training, and you need to be applying the principle of overload. If you can curl 20 kilos, and you keep curling 20 kilos, you're not going to get stronger. You ask your bicep muscles to curl 22, 23 kilos. And changes will take place within your body, called the training effect, in result to having been stressed by that overload. And then you will develop musculature in your biceps as a result. You do need foods to be doing the building and creation of new muscle. But the primary nutrient you need in physical training, whether it is cardio training, muscular strength, muscular endurance, or any other type, is carbohydrate. Fuel your body to perform the exercises. The increase in protein requirements, commonly thought to be enormous amongst weightlifters, is a myth. You do need an increase in the protein in your diet. But when I say it's a myth, what I'm saying is what we only need is a relatively moderate increase, not the enormous increases that you see people taking. It's not unusual for somebody to be taking protein supplements and ingesting about 150 grams in a day, thinking they'll grow greater muscles. All they actually do is they grow kidney disease, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, and cancer. The need for protein does increase as the demands of your musculature increase, but it's not anything like as much as people think. The primary nutrient we need to fuel our physical training is carbohydrates, and we have the fuel to perform the exercises in the first place.
There's a great amount of current research indicating that the only reason that more protein is used in the bodybuilding and other high physical demand exercises is because those people are eating insufficient carbohydrates. And if they would get them to consume sufficient carbohydrates, all they actually end up needing is a greater number of total calories. The protein percentage remains relatively the same.
Can you, being raw foodist, can you work out every day?
It depends which particular type of exercise you're looking at. There are primarily 5 components to physical fitness. You have the cardiorespiratory, which is the fitness of your heart and lungs and circulatory system. You have muscular strength, your ability to overcome high resistance for a very low number of repetitions. Ultimate strength is what we call 1RM, 1 repetition maximum. Muscular endurance is the ability of a muscle or muscle group to overcome resistance of a moderate nature for an extended period of time. And then we have flexibility, the range of movement around a joint, and we have motor fitness, the fitness of your nervous system, balance, coordination, and so on. Of those 5, there is no reason why you can't train your motor fitness, your balance, coordination, reaction time on a daily basis. In terms of your muscular endurance and your flexibility, when it comes to flexibility, daily is highly recommended because your muscles take on a shortening effect in just 24 hours. When it comes to cardiorespiratory, there's no reason why you can't be doing that daily. The only one of the 5 which is actually advocated by the American College of Sports Science that is not done on consecutive days is pure strength work on the same muscles. If you were doing strength work on your biceps or triceps or lats or whatever it was on Monday, they are advocating that you allow Tuesday for your body to respond to the demand of overload that you've placed on those muscles, and that you postpone your training of them again until the Wednesday, that you are training on alternative days. This is why there has been the introduction of what's the common practice of doing split routines, where people will go down to the gym and they'll work their upper body on Monday, their lower body on Tuesday, their upper body on Wednesday, their lower body on Thursday. When it comes to pure strength, but all of the other disciplines can quite amply be done on a daily basis. And when you say, as a raw foodist, remember that you are giving your body the very best nutrition that you possibly can, and therefore if you can't, everyone else certainly can't.
It's got a great deal to do with your ability to recover. I don't argue with anything Rosalind just presented. I'm 100% in favor of it. In my book, Nutrition and Athletic Performance, I spend several chapters delineating how to improve recovery to make it as optimal as possible. Even when you say, can I do strength work can be done daily if it isn't done to a high degree. But if you go to the highest degree of strength work, like Rosie's talking about, 1 RM, 1 repetition maximum, then you're bringing muscles to failure and the amount of recovery time increases. The interesting thing, though, is if we lower strength training down a few notches from maximum, it very quickly stops being strength training and starts becoming muscular endurance training. It's an interesting little way of looking at it. I can do strength training daily, but I can't do maximum strength training daily. At that point, I am not training for hypertrophy. I don't want to get bigger. I would like to get a little stronger without getting bigger. So I'm taking my strength training towards muscular endurance training rather than towards pure strength in order to just get bigger without even getting much stronger. Depends on what your goals are. It depends on so many other factors other than just what do I eat. All of the recovery factors are involved, and your recovery is only as good as the weakest link.
I think it's worth bearing in mind too that there is a difference between recovery and improvement. Recovery simply brings you back to where you were prior to your training. And we're looking nutritionally at obviously water, salt and sugar primarily, which Doug goes into extensively in his book Nutrition and Athletic Performance. When we're talking of improvement, that is a completely separate concept from just recovery. Improvement means at this point that you have created something you didn't have before, and that is what requires the time in order to make your body make those improvements.
That's actual growth.
That's muscular hypertrophy.
Improvement in performance. Any improvement in performance.
Approximately, one can consider strength to be anything 8 repetitions or under. Once you get 10 repetitions or over, you're definitely getting towards being into endurance. One has to consider sets of repetitions as well. If you're doing 4 sets of 6 reps, this is definitely classified as strength work. Once you're getting up into 5 sets of 15 reps, 20 reps, it's definitely into endurance work. It is a continuum from one to the other. 15 reps.